All right, guys, we're doing a very impromptu late night recording with somebody you guys might recognize, Jason here from Warfi. He's reached out to me and we kind of had a little bit of a chat. So a couple of full transparency things from me first that I was very transparent with Jason about, and I just want to make sure you guys get across. We're trying to find out the facts, right? And I'm going to give Jason some time to talk. I'm going to try and ask some hard questions. It's 2:40 in the morning for me, so I may not be as on the ball as I'd like to be. So what I'd like to not see is everybody in the chat afterwards that gets this thing telling me how I didn't ask any of the hard questions. I'm going to do my best. We're going to hopefully get some more information today, and hopefully add some value and some depth to everything that's going on. To me, even this conversation is sort of, I wouldn't say useless until we start gathering facts. And I know in the Discord right now, there's a lot of hate, a lot of mudslinging, even all over the space right now. And really, we really got to get down to facts, is my opinion. So anyways, I just want to sit there and say a couple quick things. I've set up a chat with Brian, JP Analysis on chain.
Brian
Sorry.
is trade yield.
Yeah, Brian is trade yield on Discord. Sorry, just to clarify that. So I've set up a chat between JP Intelligence on chain as well as James Pelton and trade yield. So that you guys know I'm not just here trying to make Jason look good, and hopefully you'll see as we go through this that I'm just here to hopefully find the truth and help find the truth for everybody. So I've set up a chat with them to hopefully get trade yields side of the story, get some facts, get some data built up, so we actually have some real numbers to look at and where funds have moved and all this kind of jazz. And at the same token, Jason reached out to me and asked, "Hey, can we do something?" And I'm like, you know what, whatever, let's do it. So we're gonna have a candid chat here, hopefully on things, and find out some things as best we can. And again, I'm going to be very transparent, even in front of Jason. We don't know who's telling the truth here, and I've said this in Discords. I've said it to Brian, who is trade yield, and I'm saying it right now to Jason. Until we see the data and the actual facts, we're just listening to two people give their side of the story. So anyways, I don't want to keep going on that, but Jason, thank you. Obviously it takes a lot of courage to come here and have this chat. I am not doing this for my channel, but I do appreciate you having a chat with me and seeing what we can do.
Full disclosure, I came to Pocket, and the reason why is because there's some people that think James is obviously part of the team. You know, we made James part of our marketing arm a long time ago, and basically James has always been somebody who did marketing for us, and basically we asked him to endorse us. So he's not part of the team, you would say, like actively doing any work. He's just does the marketing for us. And you know, because we were always using him, he said he wouldn't mind being known as being endorsing this project. You know, he even flew to my house once upon a time. So that's why I didn't want to use him, because I didn't want people to think, oh, it's just his buddy. Pocket was obviously in all the Discord chats, asking all the hard questions, talking, and it's like, you know what? I reached out to him because I know he is a YouTuber, and I'm more than happy to get the story out 100%, because the truth will come out. And I just didn't want to use somebody that people might say, you know him, it could just be whatever. But anyway,
awesome.
Yeah,
no worries.
Jason from Warfi founder.
So let's not take up too much other time. Let's get into it. So obviously we're sitting here with a situation where some money has left. We're a little bit, as you can see in the Discord, there was an AMA, all this stuff. We're just left asking more questions. And I understand there's an investigation. I understand there's all this stuff. But people need some type of truth and facts and whatever. So I guess if you could, as best you can, since we're on recording, whatever, tell us your side of the story, starting with, I guess we've got 6.73. I actually never noticed this on the DApp. I'm terrible at doing my own research, as we talked about, but I see 6.7 million here. Let's get some, and I feel like there's been tons of chatter inside the chat. What's the real numbers?
So those are real numbers. They're just split. Okay, so there's retail, which people can come through the DApp and they're part of our Discord. And then there's institutional consortiums, big investors. A couple of them are projects that you may know, like Horde, for example, that invested in us, and then I think it was about 800,000, if I'm not mistaken, and then pulled their money back out because they didn't like that they're only getting 2-3%. Okay, fine. We left that there. We told them you don't have to pay fees again. You're more than welcome to come back at any time. So people are saying there's still, besides the 2.4 million that we'll get to with Brian, what's the rest of that number? The rest of that number is including all the actual institutions, protocols, and big players that were invested us, that we signed NDAs with. Sorry, Horde, I don't like you guys, so I'm not applying to that one. Though that money has never been with us, we don't manage that money. We have APIs that we connect to their Bybit accounts, and we trade on their behalf. So, and I'll give you more information. Some of those people, when Shiny paused, are not currently trading with us. So people can say that, well, then why is that still on the actual DApp? Why doesn't that number go down when those guys aren't trading? Because they're still on and off with us the whole time. Even after this, I'm sure they're going to still trade with Shiny. Shiny is the trading team that has always, traded for us, and he trades for these guys, not exclusively, but he trades for them. He had these clients before he even came to Warfi and became an exclusive to Warfi. He still has all his own clients, and basically the deal was we want him to say he's exclusive with us, but then the deal was we did all the admin for existing clients, as well as clients that might come directly to Shiny. We would just do the admin and be the mouthpiece for, so that we can say that he's exclusive to Warfi, because we didn't want him working for other protocols.
Sorry,
so
just to be
the other money
concise,
is still there.
Yeah. So basically, if I'm understanding that correctly, there's a portion of this money which is kind of in and out. It's never part of your guys. It's never in your Bybit account or anything. It's set up through Shiny. You guys are really just the middleman that sets up the communication, I guess, if you will, and that the funds are there. So I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say it's huge misconduct, but I mean, I guess in a sense, I would say maybe that money shouldn't be on there, or it should be separate on there, because of the fact that it in essence, in a way, makes you guys look like you're managing more funds than you are at certain given times. I'm not going to say it's a gross negligence, but I mean, I got to be as honest as I can in certain things.
It's a bit misleading. We can say it's a bit misleading.
It becomes a marketing tool that doesn't show.
It becomes a marketing tool. But at the end of the day, we feel that those are funds that we were still trading. Okay. And that's not a lie. We maybe don't have them in our own Bybit account, but those are still funds. And even the ones that have, not trading with us right now, it's open dialogue. They're more than welcome to trade with us at any time. When Shiny's obviously developing his bots, and so we didn't take it off. And yes, it looks good for us, so we can carry on looking good. And we didn't want to remove it. But
and none of nothing to do with that. And that, because they're separate like that, none of the rewards would be siphoned from the Bybit account to be helpful for those other investors. There's really no cross contamination, if you will, I guess, between those ones. Okay, so
when we signed the NDAs as well, remember, because we don't have control of those funds, the percentage of profit every month, we can't take our percentage off of it. We have to rely on some of these guys to actually pay our percentage to us. Remember, we get 10% of the profits and everybody gets 90%. So these institutions, right, it's very simple. We trade on their behalf. They pay us 10% of the profit we make. If they don't, we just stop trading for them. So that's how we do it essentially on the APIs.
Okay. So what are we talking? So what do we know a total number right now? Do we have facts as to how much money was actual retail investor funds?
No, it was, you could say it's over the 3.8. I haven't done the
if
stuff.
You don't know
100%.
I just wondered if we knew, but okay. So 3 point something anyways is retail money.
3 point something closer to 4. Okay. 2.4 plus another 400,000 that is unaccounted for. We can talk about that as well. So that it's
let's go in chronological order. What's the 400 then, I guess, because is that the first
amount? So basically, before Warfi, there was that's so I want to go back. Warfi started off as NFTs, soldiers, and you make 150% ROI. Okay, and we had to obviously make. The host has enabled local recordings.
Sorry, I'm changing it because you were cutting. So so I'm hoping it's going to do a better recording. I had to adjust it. So anyways, hopefully it just carries on.
If I ever cover out, just tell me to say it again.
Yeah.
Basically, Warfi, before we were exclusively a trading bot service, we were a DApp, and we had NFTs, and we promised people 160% ROI. We would take their funds and trade it up. But we realized that a lot of people were buying these NFTs, which put pressure on us to make obviously more returns than what we were capable of. There was just way
The
too many
first one
people
was kind
coming
of a
in.
Ponzi,
Yeah,
which you
exactly.
guys
And we
were
didn't want
open
to
and
run it like
transparent
a
about.
Ponzi. Yeah, exactly. We didn't want to run it like a Ponzi. So what we basically said was to everybody that invested is either you take your money out, or what we're doing is we're paying that 150% out into a trading pool for you. So let's say you had $100 invested. We're saying, okay, here's a $150 trading pool. So that you get it immediately and you don't have to wait the 6 months to ROI. Okay. And we would then make that money obviously in time to account for that $400,000. It could be a little bit more, like I said, 450, 460, 470. I'm giving you overhead of
And
everything.
so those funds were still always, those were never fully recuperated, I guess, is what you're saying then. So it's still.
No. So yeah, so every month, what we would do is from our side of profits, okay, we would then take $5,000, $10,000 a month and work it towards that 400,000 to reduce it completely.
Okay.
So that was the side that you could say that we promised people, and we needed to make those funds, and that's what we were doing over the last 2 years.
Okay.
Then you get obviously investor funds, okay, which is also everything people were depositing, putting in. All right, which is 2.5 or 6 million. All right.
Well, if we were at 3 point something minus the 4, we still got a gap then, right? Because what did we say? We said 3.7 ish of investor money minus 400 puts us around the 3.3.
4.1, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Oh, 4.1 of retail, and then we take 400 off.
No, not for retail. So okay, there's 400,000. Okay,
Yep.
there's 2.6 for retail. That's 3 mil, and then another 3.7 for. Well, I'm just saying 3.7.
Okay, we're rounding it. Okay, that's fine.
We're
We don't know
rounding
for sure. Yeah. Okay, so we've got 400,000, which is kind of like leftover from the old protocol. It's kind of getting paid over time. Was that in the Discord at all? And I'm asking because I honestly didn't know, but was that transparent somewhere throughout everything?
Yeah, 2 years ago when we started.
Okay, perfect. And I mean to repeat it. Yeah, whatever.
Anybody can go back and look at all that stuff. So
yeah. And I do remember that happening. I know that happened. I honestly didn't know. And that's my bad that it was kind of working against. So it was diluting your overall capital, I guess, a little bit. But over time, as your capital grew, that would have become negligible within reason. Okay. So there's 2.4 million, right? That was retail funds that actually were funds being traded and then being paid out based on
2.6. Okay, so
right? Okay.
What we're alleging, okay, is what we're accusing Brian of. What we know so far is with our on-chain analysis, and I'm not talking about the person, I'm just talking about our analysis team. Is Brian has effectively lost 2.4 million, and that's also split up into 2 parts: 1.8 million of just trading and him making losses and using margins and things that are not acceptable, but that's what he does. And then $615,000 that was in a ledger that he blatantly just took, and he says he used that for trading. Okay.
Sorry, Jason, I want to back up a little bit. I apologize because I know people are probably yelling at me right now, realizing I haven't started talking about, in my opinion, and I voiced this in the Discord. So I've been transparent with this to your face now and not to your face. So Shiny Jackal took a step back completely, I think, for a tiny bit of time, if I'm understanding correctly. Is that correct?
Yes. So as of September, he started talking about it, that in November, October, that he was going to pause trading. What that basically means is he was effectively not going to use his trading bots because he's developing them, because he wanted to develop them to put them on dexes and not just CEXs so that it can be less fees, more automated, and potentially get better returns.
Well,
So
and
when
also
he
have
did
the fact that it would be full custody now at that point. We wouldn't need a DAP kind of thing or whatever. Okay, my
correct.
issue there, and again, I've told you this, and I need to tell you on here because I need people to know that I'm asking these things. Is like, dude, why didn't you tell us that? And so I'll give you a chance to ask that, but I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be sold on why this wasn't told to the community. But anyways, please, like, why didn't with you being considered trustworthy and wanting to be a pillar of a community and a protocol that actually is trusted by the people and earn trust? Why didn't you tell us that you were changing from a bot trader with some manual trading to a manual trader?
So I'm not going to try and make up excuses. I'm going to add more to the timeline to answer your question. Before Shiny paused, we had already been in talks with Brian before he paused. Okay, because like I said, we already knew that Shiny was going to do that because he wanted to develop it. So we reached out to AJ at MP, as everybody knows, and we obviously got Brian referred to us. We did our own due diligence report. We did criminal reports. We even met him face to face. Make sure he's real. I flew him out to South Africa. Yeah, I know more about Brian than I do about Shiny, and Shiny is still the most trusted person in DeFi. That's how extensive our due diligence was. Anyway, so he was trading on a small portion of our treasury funds, not the retail funds, not the investors' funds, our treasury funds. Okay. And he was making good profits. And at this point, when we obviously knew Shiny was going to step away for a while, okay, and I think, yeah, I should talk about Shiny. So we knew Shiny was going to be stepping away for a while. So we obviously started using more of Brian. But we'll get back to that because I know you asked about Shiny.
Yeah.
So we didn't tell the community because everything was going well. Profits were still being made. Everything was aligned. Everything was going very well. We were paying out every month like we normally do. And I just didn't say anything. And maybe that's stupid. Maybe that's untrustworthy on my side. It is what it is,
Yeah, and I mean, I gotta admit, to me that was very poor choice of managing something that, again, kind of leaned a lot on the fact that you were being so transparent, right? As much as it may
Well, I
not have made
said
a
I was
difference.
being so transparent, but obviously that wasn't transparent.
No, exactly. And I mean, as much as it may not have changed anything, we might have, but. And as I get it that maybe it wouldn't have mattered had everybody just had everything not gotten stolen, but if there would have been a lot more opportunity to stay transparent and possibly stop him from losing as much if more facts were known. Because if you had have lost just a bit and then told us all and we kind of went, oh guys, maybe this isn't working, then maybe we could have diversified more, like as a community, or with coach being, if and I don't want to put him on the spot, but I mean, if he was aware of this, he might have helped. Was he aware of this? I guess I kind of wasn't sure. I wanted to ask that.
To a certain degree, but not as much as I knew. So I can't put this on coach basically. But remember, I'm the president. I'm the founder.
I
I'm
get
the
it.
leader. I decided to obviously use Brian. Okay. And yes, you're right. I did not tell the community. I can take full responsibility for that. I understand that is negligent on my part. I can understand that people are very upset about that because some people said if they had known Shiny wasn't trading, they wouldn't still be with us. And I
even if they
understand that.
weren't, even if they chose to stay, that would have been their choice. And this
Yeah, but they had
loss
a choice. I
would
get it.
have been more manageable in the fact that they chose to stay, knowing a live trader was in there who, like, you know what I mean? Like, all these things could have been, or like I said, if coach was more in the know and you had more people in your circle of influence, at least because you had before you had, and this is where my trust was, it wasn't just with you, it was with you, Shiny, and James. You guys all had access to the API. You could all go in and see whenever, right? Am I right in saying that? You could all go and see the money
No,
was there.
James didn't. James had an access for a certain portion of time when,
Okay.
because James knows a bit about developing, and he even contracted his brother to help us develop a landing page and the first part of the DApp, not this one.
Yeah.
We got our own development team to build this,
I
and
think I
that's
actually produced
when,
you guys.
yeah, I think, oh yes, oh
Yeah,
gee
recursive.
whiz,
Yeah. Um,
recursive, yeah.
yeah.
So basically, James only had could only see on his original
Okay.
DApp, right? That he made like I think a year ago. I'm not 100% sure,
Yeah.
but so James, no, James can't see
And
anything. He has
regardless of that, and I
immediate
wasn't
thing.
trying to put him anywhere in the middle of this. I was more saying at a time it was the three of you guys, and so we had faith that there was more hands in the pot, making sure you each held yourselves accountable. You see what I'm saying there? And
Correct.
then even if James petered off, we still knew that you and Shiny would hold each other accountable. Because I'm pretty confident, and could be wrong. And if I am wrong, tell me now. If you guys lost a bunch of money with Shiny, I feel like if you didn't tell us, he would have at least, because he was in the community, would have said something and held each other accountable to say, hey guys, I screwed up, whatever. What you
So
created.
I want to just tell you I agree with you there. And if there was money lost, it would have been known immediately because
Mhm,
remember, there wasn't just the DApp. It's not like we could just keep things from people. There was other investors that we were trading just on APIs. So they held their own money in their own
true.
accounts.
Yeah. Then there was
So
the
they
situation.
would obviously see that, hey, we've said to people there's 4% this month, for example, and they would have seen immediately in their account, but guys, my account actually went down.
Yeah.
So we couldn't lie,
Well,
basically.
exactly. So you were trustworthy and you had accountability amongst the group. And this is probably what pisses me off the most is the fact that you got rid of that trust circle and
Without you knowing.
went on your own without us knowing.
Yeah.
And whereas we, even Coach, if he had have known, and I'm not trying to single out him, I'm just using him as an example, because even if you had have had Coach brought in as now a circle of influence, we at least could have had faith that not both of you were going to send us down the wrong road, or if one of you got into a headspace that just crap, I just lost some money, because we've seen this before, right? And this is where we thought we were doing something different here. And I'm going to say somebody's name because it's easy right now, and I even had this conversation with Coach. I'm like, we had Wolf Capital, which was one you very adamantly were against, right? And they had an issue where I didn't realize, and if I had of, I would have been far more cautious with my money as well as telling other people about it. They had a situation which I thought you guys had helped fix, where they have a trader who was not communicating to the dev, and the dev was not holding the trader accountable. So by the time the money was lost, it was too late. Nobody was, and you basically, in essence, created the exact same environment that we didn't want to have happen, that we didn't agree to be a part of,
Yeah.
right?
And I did. And I take full responsibility. Like I say, I did that. I started using Brian. Well, like that's part of my two big mistakes, right?
Mhm.
Is using Brian without telling the community, right? That's number one. Number two is giving Brian too much access.
Yeah.
That's my two big mistakes. But it's any company can make decisions behind the thing. It's not illegal to make these things. So I know people are very upset and misled and stuff like that. And I believe it's not illegal, and people can say otherwise.
Well,
I
and to be
don't
honest with
mind.
you, and I don't want to stop you there, Jason. It doesn't really matter about the legalities, right? Like that's not what matter. Like, and people will say nobody knows the fucking law, or pardon my language, but nobody knows the law in DeFi really. People will say they know all these things and say all the, but realistically speaking, there is no law here yet.
Well, you
I'd
can
like.
treat it like a normal business. Remember, in a normal business, your bank doesn't need to tell you what they're doing with your funds. They might tell you we're investing it. They can change that investment strategy around as long as they do make
Like
the
they're
paperwork
insured,
look.
right? Like they can't lose my
Yeah.
money. And so like we
Well,
got
they
to keep.
can. They can. Banks in Canada, banks in America have gone down, and people
Yeah,
lost
I
a lot
guess
of money.
Canada might be a little different. We had banks go down, but the government bails us out, right? Like so it's not, we don't have that option here, so we need to have accountability
Yeah.
somewhere else. And you guys wanted to be something that was different, and that's where you tried to create that accountability with Shiny with that. And like I said, and
I didn't say.
well on this,
I apologize. I
yeah,
understand people are going to be very upset with me. People are going to be asking me till the day I die, why didn't you just let people know? And I should have. In
yeah,
hindsight, I should have. I didn't. I'm not making excuses for it. I take full accountability for that. And I understand people upset with me. And I'm sure people are going to want to hold me responsible to try and get as much money back as I can, and
Of
that's
course.
what I'm trying to do essentially.
Okay, so keeping on target, I guess, for ideas here. Okay, so we've established your errors, and large, in my opinion.
Oh, we were still talking about Shiny. Sorry, I
Oh,
needed
sorry,
to
yeah.
add. People think I kicked Shiny out. I did not. Shiny wanted to develop his own bots. He said that in the Discord. You can go.
He came into the
Anybody can
Discord,
ask.
and so yeah, I don't think there's any question there. If anybody has any questions about that, then well, do a search for Shiny's chat. He doesn't talk a lot, but when he does talk, he talks with purpose. So
Yeah, so it's just to say that we didn't kick him out. He wanted to go develop these things. We knew about it. We tried to get somebody else in the interim to fill up his space in that thing. He started trading again in January. So he was gone for 2 months. Okay, so it's not like I fired him. It's not like I told him to go away. He wanted to leave to go develop these things. It didn't work out that he could build this development of these deck spots.
deck spots, yeah.
When he came back, obviously we had another trader that was doing better for less fees. So he was obviously not trying to push his way back in. I trusted Shiny. I wanted him back in. So we started putting small amounts back with him so that we could start moving it away from the manual trader. Okay. And he was trying to refine his strategy to make the same level of risk, but to make better returns so that we didn't have to use Brian. So I was in contact with Shiny that whole time. I didn't throw him away. I didn't kick him away. I'm still going to be using Shiny. You know, my big institutional guys that are still trading with us that are going to be using Shiny in the future.
Mhm.
Like I said, that's his trading bots. Once he's obviously got his strategy reformed perfect, you know, these guys are still in and out, and they're obviously going to trade with us. But trade with Warfi, Shiny does the trade.
Yeah.
I'm the
And sorry, I pulled
middleman
this
or
up.
spokesperson or admin,
Yeah,
whatever
and
you want
I'm
to
not
call
trying to dwell. I just don't want to get this too long either and stuff. But so I pulled this up quickly because I wanted to quickly ask, and this is a tough question. At any point, I mean, I think I've got to kind of know the answer. At any point, was any of this a lie?
it. Well, these stats?
Yeah.
No, no.
So
Like I
even
said, how
in
can it be? Because we were trading on APIs on people's accounts. So if any of this was a lie, right, those people would have said something immediately in the Discord.
no, but I'm
We
thinking
would
more. I'm talking later ones. Like I'm talking February, March. Well, I guess April's not on there, but April.
no, not a lie at all. You can see on the timeline on this as well. Okay, so from June, July, August. Yeah, there where you're at now, right? That's when obviously trading started going down, and Adi wanted to obviously refine his bots. So that's when September, October, he's not trading with us, but we're using the other trader.
This
And
is
then
Brian.
obviously, no, Brian's September. So
Okay,
Brian
that's what I
started
thought.
with us
Okay,
on a
so there's.
small. Brian started with on a small amount back there in July.
But
Okay,
who's the
but
other
not
trader then?
still Shiny. Shiny only left in October.
Okay, sorry, you said other trader. Okay, gotcha. So October. Anyways, we're here
Yeah,
now. Brian comes in. I thought there
yeah.
was a third trader, a second spitter, as Seinfeld did.
Uh,
So November, Brian comes in. So my concern, based on what you're telling us, and the fact that we have no funds left in March or May, is all of these numbers, including April's payouts, because we did get April's payouts, right? Those were all accurate
yeah.
profits that Brian was
And those were
generating.
from Brian. Yeah. So
Okay.
how it works is, remember, you've got money that's in trading. Okay. And you've got realized profit and unrealized profit.
Yeah.
Okay. And basically, when a trade closes, we take that amount, and that's obviously what's put in the account to pay out to investors. All right.
Yeah.
So then money gets put back into trades again. All right.
Yeah. No,
And
I get it. Yeah.
yeah, so even like last month when it was so low, because that's all that we had left. All right, that's all that was left to pay out to people. All right, and money was obviously still in unrealized profit, which
Yeah.
we thought it was unrealized or whatever, but it had actually all been lost.
Okay. So that month, whatever he gave you in profits, he had already lost everything. He was just giving you some peanuts to hold over as long as he could before he had to give away the farm,
Yeah,
or what?
he'd already lost he had already lost those funds. We found out obviously that even with the ledger, for example, that we had created this ledger back at the end of December or January, okay, and we gave him access that he could use it in terms of if there was a trade going badly, because we understand it's a manual trader. It's the same principles, just on a bigger scale from what Shiny was doing. You hedge your positions, you DCA into trades. These are all known
Yeah.
trading methods. And
Yeah.
if there was ever a trade going bad, we needed to make sure we either DCA out of it or hedge on the other side. So we gave him access to it, with me obviously having the other part of that access, so he can't just do anything himself. All right.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, like, even on the phone recordings that we released, I asked him, I don't know how you obviously just took it out without us knowing. And there was always a story. He was telling me, no, it's still in there. To this day, he hasn't told me what was happening there. He said those funds were still in there. And if I go onto the ledger, then it's like, oh, they are still there, but you can't remove any of it. That's not real USDT. Then there was a second ledger that he said, no, I transferred it to a second ledger to keep it safe or whatever.
Why do you need to go to a second ledger? Anyways, whatever. But again, I'm not trying to, I don't really want to get into the stuff we can't prove, but yeah.
And I'm not an analysis. So what we did is we gave that information to the analysis team. They tracked it all going to a Bybit account. That is the document I sent you earlier directly from the Cyber Police Department of Jamnagar.
Okay, now that you guys know I have that, I'm not going to be releasing this to anyone. But I can say I saw this.
So sorry, I didn't mean to drop you.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure everybody knows I'm not just going to magically give this to anybody. But I will confirm that I did see it.
The reason why he can't give it out is because there's an ongoing investigation. And at the end of the day, we can't release certain facts. The lawyers told us straight, certain facts we can't release because it jeopardizes actually getting the money back. And that's what we're trying to do, essentially. So I apologize for putting you on the spot there.
No, like it's fine. I don't mind validating facts, because that's actually a fact. I can say I saw that, and I have no issue validating that stuff, because that's something, like, we don't have a lot of facts in this whole thing, right? Not stuff that's provable, tangible by what data we have right now. I'm hoping with my conversation with Brian and with Analysis on Chain and with JP James Pelton, that we can actually see some actual facts. I mean, obviously it's going to be really weird conversation, because you are saying one thing, he is saying another. So how, like, where I'm on pins and needles, guys. Like, it's like a movie. Get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be interesting to see. Okay, so,
but anyway, going back to that, right? So that's what I mean. Then we gave all of that information to the cybersecurity teams. Okay, they tracked it back to Bybit. Obviously, we've sent Bybit the information, the proof, everything, and we're waiting on them to give us if there's anything still in that account, if he traded it, because whatever he says, I'm not going to say what he says, because it could be a lie.
Yeah.
Right. So he says, no, he traded and lost it. For all I know, he could have that money in a bank account somewhere or stashed. I don't know. All right. The fact is, he took that money, hand straight, and then he also did it funnily. Like, I'll get the on-chain analysis report. He sent it in bits and bits, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000 through just one wallet into another.
Yeah.
Everybody will see it from one wallet into another, into Bybit, like almost like he was trying to hide something. But anyway, that'll be shown.
Hide that kind of stuff. Hell, even going through a Tumblr, they can sometimes find it. Okay, so let's get into some nitty-gritties here. I want to know, like, so how do we even get into this? So April, things are seemingly okay, but what kind of checks and balances are you doing with this guy? Because I get it. You say you've done all these, like, massive things, but when you're dealing with, if it was your money, you may not be so crazy about it because you'd see it. Where are you making sure that he is doing what he's saying he's doing, and checking and balancing? How often are you doing this? Is it daily, weekly, monthly, where you're checking in on him and making sure that everything's accurate?
So beginning of the year, it was daily, sometimes weekly, to make sure how are things going, how's the trading going, because it is a manual trader, so you need to keep more track, for example, than I would need to do with Shiny. So I was keeping in contact with him, and he was fairly honest with what was going on. He mentioned he had made a couple losses as well, but it wasn't losses because his other trades were in profit, but it was unrealized profit, right? So it's like, okay, so what you're telling me is we're still in profit, but we're not actually in profit because it's unrealized profit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, that's just what was told to me. Okay.
But are you verifying those things? Because, right, you should be verifying those things as a business owner.
Asking for days and days about to give me these reports, and he says he's got them on his side. I never saw any of that.
Okay. And so when did that start happening? Because that's obviously a big red flag.
Like 2 months before this all went down.
Okay, so that's a lot. Okay, and then so was there communication at all during all those 2 months?
Yeah, that was still communicated from February, March. He stopped communicating with us with March when we started tackling, like, because the only thing then we had left on access to is the profit side that we can pay out to people. Okay,
Mhm.
he then just
Pardon
ghosted.
me. Sorry, it's late. Okay, so then my question is, could he not have traded with APIs? Why did you need to send him funds then?
He had a well. This is again the other big mistake I made of giving him access to majority of the funds is because he had an account with crypto.com and he had better fees there, and that's what he told me and convinced me to. And like I said, I trusted him. The guy was at my house.
Better fees
I did
or
my due
giving up,
diligence.
but you never trusted. And well, sorry, you never
I
had to
trusted
trust.
Shady.
Okay.
I
I
trusted
know, I get
Shiny
it.
the same
You
way.
never had to trust with him with giving him the money. Why do it in
When
this
we
case? Yeah.
let me tell you how much I trusted Shiny. All right. At the end of the day, when we moved chains from BNB to Polygon,
Mhm.
okay, we needed to take some funds at times 500,000-600,000 at a time and bridge it. And
Mhm.
Shiny obviously did that for us. I sent that money to Shiny, five, six
Okay.
hundred thousand dollars at a time. He would
Yeah.
bridge it. That's how much I trusted my team.
But that
Mate,
said, he
that's
could have
negligence
done
on my.
anything with it because it's all on chain, and he would have been found out right away, right? Like that would be detrimental to him to do that. But regardless of that, my point no more is
It's
so
the
is on
same,
this
but
guy.
that's. I just want to mention that's the same way this is going to be. When all the on-chain obviously data gets shown, it will show he's got the money, and then what he does with it up to there is on him.
But you're
I'm
but
negligent for
again,
sending
you've
him
given
and
up
giving him
now.
access to it. Yeah,
Yeah, but you've now given up our money without telling us to
yeah,
someone that we don't know. And
yeah.
so at that point, I mean, to me, I'd want him in the Discord if you're handing over the money so that we can even like I don't yeah, I don't know. Anyways, another poor choice and Jason, I mean, I gotta call it out. Like, but regardless, again, we're where we're at, and we need to more find out what the facts are now. And which is unfortunately, again, guys, I'm sorry, we're not really going to solve that today, but I hoped that some of this would give at least some. I'm not trying to absolve Jason of anything with this, even right. Like I want him to have a voice because I do want the mudslinging to stop in the Discord. Not that it's going to, because people are going to still make up their own accusations, but I do want to see us at least act more civil for a little bit while we try and find this out. So, Jason, what are you doing right now? I guess is the next thing to chat about to solve this. What are you doing to try and? I mean, oh, you can't. I know the court case, all that stuff. Like, so or what yeah, and how
Let
proof
me
would
put it
you
this way.
yeah,
So let me put it this way. What I'm actively doing, okay, is going after Brian legally, putting pressure on him legally. And the reason why is because I believe he will say that he will try and make this money back and pay everybody, but he ghosted us. He's ghosted other protocols. He's ghosted other private groups that he's been trading for, and he just ghosts people. So the thing is, I don't want him to run. I want him to pay this money back. I'm sure we all do. And if
of
he
course.
can pay that 2.4 million back, all right, he needs to come up with a recovery plan. We'll leave him to tell us what he's going to do. But I need to put I need to put pressure on him to make sure he does whatever he says he's going to do.
Mhm.
Because if he can pay that money back, that's at least 85, probably 90% of people whole immediately.
Yeah,
What people want to do with that, like I'm hands off. I'm willing to. A lot of people have said, oh, we don't want you there anymore, let
yeah,
Shiny make the decisions. I will hand the thing over to Shiny. Shiny can make the decisions. If you guys want him to trade that money back, if you guys want your money taken out, the 40,000 that is still in one of our accounts, Shiny can take that too if you guys want. I'll
yeah,
give it to Justin. I'll give it to JP. I don't care. Like the thing
yeah,
is, it's all provable on chain. And even if guys go through our DApp, because it's a normal DApp, you can check it on the blockchain. You can follow every single transaction. It's easily done if
yeah.
you know what you're doing with on chain. But what I'm trying to do is, I believe this guy will keep running away from this until he's pressured and forced to do it legally.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing right now. I know for a fact, and that's why I said the investigation is still ongoing.
Yeah.
It could be even a little bit more than 2.4 million. Okay. 2.4 million is what I know. And I am trying to pressure him to pay that money back to the investors
Okay.
because
Uh,
I don't have money to, I didn't steal money, I didn't rug money, I didn't do any of that stuff. Okay. And people are hurting. People need an answer from him, because he's already come into the Discord. He's admitted that he had losses. He admitted that he's going to help pay this money back to people. Okay. He put his photo there. So that is the real Brian, by the way. Just to let you all know that he put his own photo on saying, this is me with the date. Great. Okay. Yes, I'm negligent. I made mistakes in giving this guy access, and shouldn't have trusted him with so many funds and mismanagement. Okay, great. 100%. That was me. That's the problem. No, I get it. People are going to hold me responsible for that, and I apologize. And I can, but what do we need to do moving forward is I'm going to put pressure on him so he can actually pay that back, because I believe he will just run away from this. And people need to be obviously get money back. It's not like I've got money that I can just pay everybody back and okay, then I'll try and do it on myself. I wish I could take out a loan and just pay everybody back. And then I will
obviously everybody thinks you've made millions off of this, of course.
I'm literally in my office, which is a closet with my clothes in a small space. Like, I'm not a millionaire. I don't wear Gucci.
No, and anybody that thinks that, anyways, whatever. We know the fee structure, and we know that some of that.
Yeah, you can see the fees. You can see where the trading pool goes straight into the trading pool, into the Bybit stuff. People can see the fees on the blockchain. They can see. In the beginning, it was 15%, 7.5% went directly to Shiny Jackal for his fee management. 7.5 came to me. So out of $100,000, I only get 7.5,000. Out of that 7.5,000, I've got to pay for marketing. I got to pay for salaries. I got to pay for extra development. Everything we've did, you heard there was one dApp, then another dApp, then we. Yeah. I didn't make millions. I rely on Warfi for my monthly salary to support my family. I'm also screwed.
Yeah, anyway. And unfortunately, people will hear that and just get
not believe it.
I know it's hard not to try and show empathy that way and understanding that way, but unfortunately, some people won't hear that. And to be honest with you, the people that won't hear that are the ones that are going to be the loudest in the freaking Discord, which is really.
I just want to mention, and this might be bad taste. If you just came into the Discord within the last day and you're swinging mud around, I'm banning you. Like, you don't even have an investment in us, but now all of a sudden you want to come there and scream your head off. You've got no right to be there. This is for people that lost money. The Discord is there so that I can relay information and tell people what I'm doing. And it's not going to be I'm in there every day chatting to people. I'm doing my job to try and get the legal side obviously sorted. And when I've got updates, I will update the community. Yeah. Anybody coming in that's shouting their face that have only been there for a day, you're getting banned. If you've been there and you're an investor, I'm not going to ban you, but there will be no death threats. You will be banned. If you've been there for just a day and you're being banned. I'm just saying.
And I get that. And the only thing I might add to that is a little thing, because I think there's people that maybe were not in the Discord or got out of the Discord a while ago and maybe are investors, but just go to the
Can't be an investor unless you're in the Discord, because the dApp's information is only on our Discord.
No,
where did they get the? Unless they were told by a friend, but then they've already
recommended. So just all I'm saying is it might be worth, before you kicking them, forcing them into a ticket, and if they don't choose to go into a ticket, then kick them. But get them in a ticket, say prove you're an investor, or we're kicking you or something. Just as a little side note, because the last thing you want to do is assume.
Okay, that's what I'll say then. So that's what I'll say. Prove you're an investor, or you're getting kicked out the chat.
Because don't you have a collab land actually in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody, so this is for everybody that then if you're in there, get your collab land done, because if your collab land proves you're an investor right away, right? Even if you left the Discord, when you come back in, you go to collab land, you can get the role, and if you have the role, then you're an investor. So people need to at least do that, and then that way you guys can easily see, okay, the people that have the certain color, they need to go, because you're right.
Because there's real investors that want the real information. They don't want to sit in chat where people are mudslinging and throwing shit around, and it's taking away from the actual conversation that needs to be had.
Well, not only that, and I've had a couple of conversations with some people that thought they were doing good by pressuring them. I made Shiny Jackal come in and talk, and I'm like, no, you just made a lot of people scared, or you made a lot of people confused because they're not getting facts, they're just getting your ramblings. So I do agree. I mean, I will wholeheartedly agree with that. People unfortunately are making more of a mess of this than it needs to be, and creating a lot of confusion for people, which is unfortunate. I understand you're angry, and that's great, and I understand people have a right to vent inside the Discord, but what I don't want to see, or would prefer not to see, is people just being boisterous people to try and think they're going to bully somebody into getting money back. It's not going to happen. It cannot happen with a keyboard warrior. You cannot bully somebody from a keyboard. Well, you can, but it's not going to garnish any results, in my opinion. But anyways, we'll leave that at that. Jason, I don't want to keep myself any longer because I do have to get some sleep tonight. I do appreciate this. I don't want to start praising you. I will not. I will not. There is decisions that you have very wholeheartedly apologized for here, but I don't think your apologies are done. And I think you know that. There is a large mismanagement here that could have helped not get wrecked as hard as we got. And some of that ownership comes on you. And again, I don't think you're oblivious to this. And
No, I'm not shying away from it. I take full responsibility for that. And that's why I said all I can do is try and make people whole. And that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to go after the guy that lost the money. And at the end of the day, I'm trying everything I can.
I will not be a judge or a jury and say you are innocent or non-innocent about the movement of the funds, because we don't have proof of that. I'm just going to be honest. I do appreciate that you seem to want to find the truth and have at least are here to do that. And so to me, I think that shows that there's some trust or some honesty in you. But I just don't want to, I don't want to overstep either way. Right. I need to be impartial.
Yeah. You also need to wait for the actual proof of, like I say, there was on-chain stuff. I could just be saying that. I say there was this, there was that. That stuff needs to be proven, but at least, you know, it gets to people asking the right questions. Okay. And that this is not a case of, oh, this guy ran away with $1 million, or some people said I've run away with $5 million. It's like,
well, they see the numbers, right? They're gonna make their own assumptions. And unfortunately, as you are aware, that AMA gave no concrete anything, so it left some people feeling like all they could do was make up their own answers. As wrong as that is, some people in the headspace, right? They're gonna lash out, or they're gonna reach out for any reasoning they can for why this is what it is, when really we just need to find the facts. So what and I'm not trying to say this like I have some ego, and like I have reached out to a few people to validate some of the information Jason has said. I have also, as I mentioned already, set up a chat with Trade Yield, who is Brian, with James Pelton, to just add some extra information to the whole thing, and JP Intelligence on Chain. You guys don't know who JP is. I think he is someone everybody should know. He does a lot of really great stuff when it comes to analyzing the blockchain, when it comes to tracking this shit. He's gone in with QOP. He's tracked a whole bunch of stuff and got set up with a lawyer for people. So he's really somebody who's very knowledgeable in this space about the security and all that stuff. I did do an AMA actually with him not that long ago, which is why I wanted to hook him up. And actually, he's just about to start chatting now in the chat that I have. So I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing that, and which means I probably won't go to bed right away. So anything else you'd like to say? I mean, I don't know. There's no fix all for this right now, but I just want to give you anything else you want to mention right now.
Well, like I said, the main thing for me is firstly just to apologize on my mistakes. And there's clearly, like you said, mismanagement. I should have told people more, should have been more open about, you know, giving information when Shiny was, you know, pausing so people can make up their own mind. I take full responsibility for that. I shouldn't have given him as much access as I did. Yeah, I mean, all I can say, guys, is I'm trying my hardest to get you guys your money back, because that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, people need to, we can all talk about the problems and the causes, but I need the solution, because I mean, we wouldn't be talking about the problem anymore if we had been made whole. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to rush to that outcome, because then all the mudslinging and all the accusations, all the mistakes would not go away, but
no, I mean, but at least there's an opportunity to learn without a loss, and that's what I think everybody would obviously like. I mean, as we all know, people in the space, we can say all we want, bet what you can afford to lose, blah blah blah. I mean, unfortunately, people gain trust, and this has been around for a long time, so there's a lot of added trust, and a lot of people putting in way more money than they can afford to lose. Because of that trust, which is unfortunate, because they shouldn't do that. I totally think they need to take responsibility for their actions, but they still did it with the pretense that they were investing in something that was transparent and open. So it's a very anyways, we get it. So I think that's about it for now. I will get this out as soon as I can, and then
if there's any more, like I'm open. Like I'm going to be posting as many announcements as I can. Obviously, the more the legal team goes me the head to give out all the actual information, like phone numbers, where what field office we're using in America to start building the case that side. That for example, that on-chain analysis letter that you saw from Bybit, as soon as we're allowed to give this information out, I'm going to. And that way there's actual hard, tangible proof as well. Because we're trying to go after him legally, and I don't want to be selfish. I could clear my own name, all right, by giving all this information out. I could clear my own name right now. Then everybody knows, here's the on-chain analysis, here's Jason's, all from the Warfi DApp, all the paths that every single dollar is ever taken. And here's, okay, so not one wallet ever had millions or had things, and Jason made a couple 100,000 in total off Warfi the whole time he's run it. Provable. Okay, money went there to Bybit account, money went there. We've got all of that. Okay, but I can give all of that out right now, and I can clear my own name, but then it hampers the legal side of things to try and pressure this person to get the money back. So I could be selfish and just give it all and clear myself, but then it might cost everybody else getting their money back. Because if it ruins the case and this guy doesn't have to pay us back, then what?
And we'll have to see what happens there. But there's other things hopefully that can happen sooner, like with the stuff we're doing with analysis on chain, or with intelligence on chain. Hopefully with James Pelton helping out. I know he's even offered to go to meet Brian in person to have a conversation and kind of go through problem solving. So hopefully some of these other things can transpire to help give us some direction. And guys, and I've said this in the Discord as well, don't get your hopes up. I just want people to be real with themselves. We may never get the money back. Hopefully there's a solution. Hopefully, hey, Brian, and anyways, I don't know what the solutions are, but hopefully there's a way to do that. But please take care of your mental health, take care of your expectations, so that you're not putting yourself at risk, because these things can be very mentally draining and very tough. I'm no psychiatrist or whatever, but I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. That's my one what is it? Bob Barker, get your pets neutered and spayed. So, and thank you guys. Thank you, Jason, for joining us. I hope a positive outcome can come for everybody. And I hope this at least adds some value. I don't know. I mean, I know it's just more information and limited proof of stuff. As I did say earlier, I have seen some of the stuff Jason has shown me, so I can at least vouch for that, but that's about all we can do right now. Okay. Thanks. I will hit this end record button.
I was going to add something.
Go ahead. I didn't hit it yet.
I was just going to say, he's already come into the Discord. He said he'd be paying money back. So please, if anybody, because I know he put his own Telegram there, he put his own face there. Guys, as a community, please hold him accountable as well.
Kindly hold him accountable. There's zero reason to beat him up.
No threats. But he came in, he admitted it.
Context.
Exactly. What I'm saying is, help us help you, right? And put pressure on him as well. He openly admitted it in the chat. Some people might not believe that was Brian. It's fine. The people who do believe that was Brian, and that's the same person, all right? Justin's also seen the video of him telling, hey, I'm Brian. He's got the video. So that is the right guy.
Hopefully with that, what I will plan to do, guys, and I'll at least say that, is I'll try and get it on a video chat with him, with the group, with the Shiny, with Alice on Chain and James Pelton. If I can get on a video chat with him and I can confirm the video, then it's irrefutable that it's him. And again, I don't want it. I just want the truth. I don't care I care who's the wrong, obviously, but I want to find the truth. And I think all of us deserve that. And I feel there's a way to find it because it's blockchain related, hopefully. So anyways, okay.
I was just saying, guys, that do believe this, okay, and can use this. He's come in there, he's given you his own Telegram. He said he's going to pay the money back. Just put pressure on him to, hey, you said within 48 hours you were going to give us all a recovery plan. That was your words. So hold him accountable to that. We're still waiting for that because he's not communicating with us. He's told us, you can go through my lawyer. All right. So please tell him, ask him for his lawyer's details so we can contact his lawyer.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has one, but ask him these things. Keep him pressured. Like I'm more than happy to jump on here with Justin again. I'm happy to jump on with anybody. I want to resolve this. I want to get the money back.
And once we
That's
get
what I
this out,
want.
I guess guys like I don't mind having an AMA live with him. The only thing I'd ask, well, the only thing I'll tell everybody right away is the mudslingers. I'm not going to bring them up on. I'm not going to bring them up on the panel here, right? But if people want to have a productive conversation and maybe want somebody to mediate it, sort of like what I could do, then I'm happy to do that. Just let Jason know inside the Discord that's what you'd like to do. That you'd like to have more immediate access, as in like being able to type questions to us and have a more open dialogue where I can
put all your questions together. Put all your questions together.
Absolutely.
Send them to Justin. I'll get on this again and answer every single one.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. We will hit that end button now.